Alright, today we're doing another coaster review, and today's review is the most surprising coaster that I have read. And this is Untamed at Canobie Lake Park in Salem, New Hampshire. Now, when I got off this coaster, it surprised me by a lot. I was not a big fan of this coaster at all. Very rough, very jerky, and lots of head banging. Like when I got off, I was surprised. Yeah, I don't know why it's rough, but like I just got off and think is it really that rough? Like it is very rough. This coaster. Like when I rode it last year, it was fine. Like I don't know what they did with it this year. I don't know if they put new trains on it, but it really killed the experience. So I'm gonna go to my thoughts, talk about stats, queue line, station, ride experience, and restraints. So first up, we're gonna start with my thoughts on this. Now, I'm just not a big fan of this coaster. Very rough. The only parts that I think that are smooth on this coaster are the loop and the drop. The helixes are the ones that just killed the experience on this coaster. There's so much rough helixes on those coasters, and the barrel roll is, I would say, okay. I'll give it a 5 out of 10, but the helixes are like 1 out of 10. They're not smooth at all. So let's get into the stats. So here are the stats. Location: Canby Lake Park, Salem, New Hampshire. Manufacturer was manufactured by Gersal. Type, it's a steel Eurofighter. Now I wonder how other Eurofighters are smooth. If you have rated Daredevil Dive at Six Flags Over Georgia, please tell me if it's smooth, because this one is rough. This is one of the worst coasters that I've ever experienced. Like when I just got on this coaster, when I went to Canby Lake Park, I just head straight first to Untamed, and boy, just got a massive headache. I didn't feel like going on the other attractions there. It was just one big giant earthquake wobbling in my head. Like I'm done of rides. I needed a drink of water and that's it. Like it didn't get me like sick or anything, but now I found this coaster actually to be honest, I found this coaster to be way rough than Corkscrew at Canobie. And that coaster was manufactured by Aerodynamics. Dynamics. But this coaster it's the headbanging and stuff like that. Corkscrew, I kind of found it a little bit of a smoother ride, but Yankee Cannonball is a very smooth ride. Like I think this is my worst coaster at Canobie, to be honest. Yeah, sorry. Surprising. This is probably my worst coaster at Canobie now because it's so much rough, really roughest. And talking about Goliath here, I found Goliath to be a little bit enjoyable. The are fun, but the inversions are sick. The inversions are not great on Goliath. Here, the drop in loops, the loop are great. They're smooth, but the helixes are junk. Like they're just completely garbage and rough. Like I think they need to do a. I think they might need to like reach. Well, it's not a wooded coaster, but they can't retrack it. Some height 72 feet, speed 44 miles per hour. Inversions, yes, two inversions. Now I'm not sure about the one element right after the loop is you feel like you're going upside down, but you're not. I'm not sure about that. Opened 2011, and I think this was just a brand new coaster when it opened. I don't think it's a real cage, so I don't know why it's rough. So let's get into the queue line. There's not much in the queue line. You just see these bear plaques, statue of bear plaques. Of course, this coaster is themed to bears, and it's also a New Hampshire coaster. It's probably one of the biggest New Hampshire coasters in the state of New Hampshire. Um, because it's themed to bears and stuff like that. So there's not much in the queue line. There's just like these bear plaques. So Next up we have station. Now the station, like when they say all clear and Joyride are untamed, when they say that, like all these employees like cheer, like they say woo like that, and I wrote it twice and they all cheered. Like, guys, do you know how to experience Untamed? Like it's not enjoyable at all, not smooth, and it's just a very rough ride. Like, have you guys experienced Untamed yet? Like, I was like talking to myself saying, does these employees have been on Untamed before? Like, how if you went on Untamed, if you worked there, then why were you cheering if it's a rough coaster? Like all these employees cheering while you're saying woo. Like, I haven't seen that on like, I think Wicked Cyclone and Superman at Six Flags should do that. Like, they cheer of a rough ride and they don't cheer for a smooth ride. Of course, this is a bit. I know this is a major coaster at Canobie. Like, this is the bigger coaster at Canobie, but I don't know why you were cheering. So next up, we have the restraints. Oh, I forgot about one thing about station, that the also they all when and also you hear that bear noise as well. I forgot about that in the station. Like, you hear this roar, like very loud, like, and you probably can't hear it because you got this employees cheering, like that. So next up we have um restraints. Restraints are not great at all on this coaster. Not okay at all. Not great restraints. Of course, you actually don't have a seatbelt on this ride, but you got hard plastic over your shoulder restraints right next to your ears. Like, your ears are just jamming over the restraints. Like, it's just tough. Like, that's another part that I'm just not a big fan of, the restraints. And plus, you don't also have that seatbelt, at the bottom. Some coasters have that seatbelt on the bottom. This one doesn't actually. Maybe I think they should get new restraints, make it a little bit softer restraints. And plus, maybe also smoothen the track out a little bit. Like, I don't know why this coaster's rough. I rode twice front row and it's rough. Next up, we have ride experience. So first up, you just get out of the station. You just hear that bear noise. Get out of the station. You turn right, and it just stops a little bit, and then you go up this 97-degree lift, vertical lift, and then down. Go through a loop. Go through a little overbank turn, and the helixes. 0 out of 10 or 1 out of 10. The only parts that I found smooth on this ride is the loop and the drop. The helixes suck. They're terrible. They're terrible. They're very rough. The only part that I would say the barrel roll is okay, but the loop and drop are fine. The helixes are terrible. The barrel roll's okay. So yeah, and you get to barrel a couple helix. I think they need to do some more inversion on this coaster than helixes stuff, because all of their helixes are rough. This coaster is helix to helix to helix and just rough. Like, I'm just not a big fan. I used to be a big fan of this coaster, but now I am not. So if you have been on Untamed, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this coaster. Do you think it's rough? Do you think it's smooth? Do you like this coaster? Do you don't like it? I personally dislike this coaster, and I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. Not smooth at all, and it's a very short ride. The only part that I do like is the drop, and that's why it's getting some credit as a 2 out of 10. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on Untamed. Do you think it's smooth? Do you think it's not smooth? I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. And please post your likes, post your comments as well. And don't forget to subscribe to more Coaster Box. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well and Twitter as well. There's nobody following me on Twitter, so I kind of don't use it that often. So yeah. And I'll see you guys later.